This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 4, verses 1 to 11. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. Next, Jesus was taken into the wild by the Spirit for the test. The devil was ready to give it. Jesus prepared for the test by fasting 40 days and 40 nights. That left him, of course, in a state of extreme hunger, which the devil took advantage of in the first test. "Since you are God's Son, speak the word that will turn these stones into loaves of bread." Jesus answered by quoting Deuteronomy. It takes more than bread to stay alive. It takes a steady stream of words from God's mouth. For the second test, the devil took him to the holy city. He sat him on the top of the temple and said, "Since you're God's Son, jump." The devil goaded him by quoting Psalm 91. "He has placed you in the care of angels. They will catch you so that you won't so much as stub your toe on a stone." Jesus countered with another citation from Deuteronomy. "Don't you dare test the Lord your God." For the third test, the devil took him to the peak of a huge mountain. He gestured expansively, pointing out all the earth's kingdoms, how glorious they all were. Then he said, "They're yours, lock, stock, and barrel. Just go down on your knees and worship me, and they're yours." Jesus' refusal was curt. "Beat it, Satan." He backed his rebuke with a third quotation from Deuteronomy. "Worship the Lord your God, and only Him. Serve Him with absolute single-heartedness." The test was over. The devil left, and in his place, angels came and took care of Jesus' needs. The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Gospel according to St. Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 to 14. Imagine to place ourselves in the place of St. Matthew while he was writing his Gospel. What was his source of information for the episode of the temptation of Jesus? This passage could arise a lot of questions. Where is the high mountain from which somebody could see the whole world? And how could Jesus go so long without eating? And who told Matthew about the conversation between Jesus and the devil? There we come to the realization that this is a passage of catechesis, and this narration of temptation in the desert was lasting a lifetime. In the Bible, the number 40 indicates a whole generation, a lifetime. Matthew's readers were mostly Jewish Christians who knew the Old Testament very well. To them, Matthew explains a parallelism between the life of Israel and the life of Jesus. The three temptations refer to three events in the Exodus. The temptation to turn the stones into bread referred to the murmurings of people over the lack of food and the gift of manna in Exodus chapter 16. The temptation to perform a spectacular show referred to the protests of Israelites over the lack of water in Exodus chapter 17. And the third temptation referred to the idolatry represented by the golden calf in Exodus 32. Jesus therefore is subject to the same temptations, and he teaches his followers how to overcome the temptations. God has placed Israel in front of the manna to educate them to trust in God's providence. They are caught up in the frenzy of desire to possess wealth and accumulate good. God wanted to teach them to control their greed, but God failed. The seduction of goods of this world is almost unstoppable. It is difficult to make everyone content with what is just enough to live on. Jesus proposes an antidote to the temptation to accumulate wealth and food. That is, every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. The second temptation, throw yourself down from the pinnacle of the temple. The ultimate goal of evil is to undermine any relationship with God. Devil creates doubts in people's minds whether the Lord keeps his promises or not. The need to demand proof arises from this doubt. In the desert, the people of Israel, exhausted by thirst, succumbed to this temptation and exclaimed, "Is the Lord among us or not?" When faced with struggles in life, we too experience similar temptation. Is the Lord among us? The third temptation is the temptation of power, of domination over others. The people of Israel in the desert got tired of their God and worshipped a golden calf. Where dominion is exercised over others, where people struggle to prevail over others, where someone is forced to kneel or bow down in front of another, the logic of evil is at work. Jesus did not overcome the temptations in 40 days, but through his life.